I went to Avengers on
once
Thursday at 7:45, like the day before opening, and the theater at AMC 30 was half full.
Really?
Like it was
Wow.
weird. I don't know. Maybe just Olathe is not a big like midnight movie crowd.
Probably. I mean, it was full when we saw it on Friday.
I went to like Dark Knight Rises at midnight, and that one like no one showed up till like 11:10.
Really?
So I mean, maybe, but it was still kind of weird.
Shouldn't you hold that up to the mic?
He'll hold up to the mic for when he fills my cup.
It's not picking up very well. Dang, it's not holding up very well. I don't feel too much coffee.
Really?
Coffee.
What do you call those? What do you call those trees that make the cat urine smell around springtime?
Screaming binge trees.
Screaming binge trees.
Why do you say?
What? Are you asking me to unveil why I asked that question?
Yes.
Yes.
Because Agent Cooper asked what those big trees were, and
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
you've pulled back the curtain, Shanna. You
No,
pulled
you
back the
foiled
curtain on
me.
my reference.
Oh, I didn't know we were starting.
Way to go, Shanna.
We are recording right now.
Who wants the fullest cup?
I would like the cup with the least amount.
I have drinking some of this. So.
Well, then you'll get the cup with the least amount.
I'll take 4. I just had this entire thing full, and I'll have some more. So whatever
Okay.
you want. Okay, perfect.
Because I am nearly comatose.
Welcome to my life.
It's been a really long day.
Cheers.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Oh, that was almost catastrophic.
Man, if these crack right over all of this expensive stuff.
We would never be invited back.
We were never invited in the first place. We just always show
Oh,
up.
we just show up and start.
Just commandeer the place.
JJ, stop playing Counter-Strike. We need your computer.
We don't need
This coffee is hot.
And
quite
damn fine.
Yes. Damn fine.
Not fish filtered, though.
That's true.
It's steaming up. It's steaming up your glasses.
I can't see anything now.
The
this,
bespectacled man's peril.
This cup of coffee is reminding me.
Oh, yeah? Your childhood?
No.
Oh.
Gene never had a childhood.
Give me a second. Siri, 5:20 p.m. in the Frozen North podcast studio. I have just had one of the best cups of coffee I've ever had. Remind me to write a Yelp review for Town Topic. The only thing better than their coffee is their cherry pie. One thing has been giving me pause as of late. Can jet fuel burn through steel girders? And why would gray aliens want to destroy a national landmark?
Mark, I've just had the best idea. You know, yesterday it was raining, right? And I was walking in the rain with my umbrella. But it didn't really matter because it was windy, and I was cold and wet, and it just occurred to me. An umbrella with a curtain. We're gonna be rich, Mark. We're gonna be rich. I'm going to the store right now to get saran wrap.
Yes, your miming for me is definitely going over the microphone. Everyone can hear.
You just ruined it. I don't want to do this
Everyone,
anymore.
everyone can hear you, like motioning for people to dance with you.
Yes. You better put music
Let
over
the
it.
record state I'm now dancing with Patrick Stitch.
See, that's
He's sobbing on my shoulder.
Yes.
Somebody dance
I'm so
with me.
uncomfortable.
Somebody Problem is my voice is going out, so somebody dance with me.
that was our shoddiest
It was
cold
pretty
open
bad.
yet.
A Wolf Lantern special between the peaks. A damn fine cup of coffee.
No.
Weevil.
Howdy, y'all! You're listening to the Fool's Lantern Podcast, where we discuss current and classic TV and force ourselves to watch the shows we hate. My name is Mark, and I'm here with my co-hosts, the hungriest host in podcasting,
Patrick.
the poor man's Hunter S. Thompson,
I'm Tank.
and the token woman of the podcast.
I don't like that.
How much?
I'm Shanna, by the way. That's fine.
How much have you been token?
Oh, I've been token.
There you go. That's pretty
That's
good.
true. The token one. Okay.
That's pretty good.
I'm okay with that.
Fast on your feet, for once. Today we're talking
Is that
about...
a fat joke?
No.
I
That was a-
disagree. I'm offended. Go
that
ahead.
was a me calling you a dimwit joke.
Oh, that's okay.
Today we're talking about Twin Peaks, as you heard from our haphazard and painful cold
Slightly
open.
disorienting. Please don't adjust your set.
Yeah.
Or maybe do. You might need to.
Yeah.
If anything is crawling out of your radio or
If you're having trouble
television-
hearing us, you've got it just right.
Right.
You can follow us on Twitter at Fool's Lantern. Email us at foolslanternpodcast@gmail.com. Please subscribe to and rate us on iTunes. That includes you, Stitch.
I'm a woo.
Finally, all our episodes and more can be found on fngaming.net. And with that, I'm going to just lean back and give the episode to Tank.
Uh-oh.
He's gonna take it from here.
We're probably all going to die.
Oh no.
All right. So Twin Peaks. I don't know. Have you guys watched the show before?
No, this is my first time watching through.
Tank and I have seen the first
Tank
season.
and you?
Sorry.
I'm
your
done
names
with
right.
this
Well, hey,
podcast.
what I was about to say is true.
I have also seen the first season.
I wasn't wrong. But Stitch and I have watched the first season together.
Okay. So I think I'm probably the only one who's watched both seasons.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. So Twin Peaks is a show from 1990 from Mark Frost and David Lynch. It is one of the early kind of just paranormal, procedural detective, homicide investigation shows with a huge emphasis on character and these like bizarre goings on in this little mountain town.
This one is like a genre breaker for me.
Right.
Like, oh my god, what is going on?
You should have said in this bizarre,
Blank. Fill in the blank.
Yep.
like
Yeah, definitely. It's a genre breaker. It's hard to look at any other like procedural show or any cop show and be like, where's the Dale Cooper in this situation?
gosh.
Why aren't they using some weird Tibetan meditation technique to
Right.
solve this crime?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was absolutely brilliant. And the thing that I think we all mentioned as we watched the pilot together last week is it's really surprising how quickly it comes together just in the first episode. Like, so many characters are already very fleshed out. It's clear that they had a plan from the beginning. Like, this was
Yeah.
a meticulously placed out show.
That pilot was awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
and it jumped so quickly from like tragedy, and like I think he did really well at portraying the tragedy of the situation. Like that scene where the mom hears about it and just like scream cries.
Right,
that,
she puts it together
that
just from
gave
what she
me
hears.
like a little. Ooh.
And I guess just for people who haven't seen it, basically what the
Sorry,
premise of
spoilers.
Twin Peaks is, Laura in this little mountain town in Washington, Twin Peaks, a little tiny, one-horse town. Laura Palmer, kind of a very attractive, popular girl at the local high school, is found murdered, and it turns out that she would appear to be the victim of a serial killer who's killed several other girls, or at least one other girl that this FBI agent who comes to investigate has encountered. And so it's kind of exploring, who killed Laura Palmer, who knew about it, who's impacted by it, what's going on in this little town. Like, is there something below the surface? There's like all this, corruption and graft and real estate schemes and murder plots and insurance scams.
And they all have like something to do with each other.
Right.
It's,
Everyone
like,
weaves together so
intertwined.
well.
And literally every single character is having an affair.
It's an incredibly amorous show.
there's something in the water in Twin Peaks and it's turning everybody on.
well, and what's that name of the soap opera that they cut to occasionally?
Oh, I wrote it down actually.
Yeah. Sorry.
Passion.
Occasion to Love? No, or not Occasion
Something to Love, but I feel like that was his little nod to the audience. Like, I know this melodrama
Yeah.
gets a little
Right.
ridiculous.
And oftentimes what was happening on that show in some way.
Invitation
mirrored.
to Love.
Invitation to Love. That's
Man, I actually really want him to have a spin-off show.
Like, there's an
of
episode-
Invitation to
I
Love.
would watch an episode of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
10-minute web video.
What? But what if
But, like,
David
there's-
Lynch made it?
They're watching it,
Yeah.
and one of the characters in that show, inside the show, shoots another character. I believe that was the same episode where later on
Right.
a character ends up shooting another character.
Right. That was that last or second to last episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was pretty interesting.
Lots of foreshadowing that happens on Invitation to Love.
Yep.
Um,
And it's not like, I really appreciate the way he can do stuff that's on one level serious, but on another level completely tongue in cheek.
Right.
Like he's clearly nodding at the audience and saying,
Right.
"This is absurd, I know, but it's fine."
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and it quickly starts to kind of gain its own credence as you go forward. And you see, like, Dale Cooper is the FBI agent who's come into
the
town.
best character.
And he's so good. He's a just iconic television character. Very eccentric, very, very accepting to weird ideas.
Right.
Yeah.
He's
Kyle-
kind of a prototypical Fox Mulder in a way.
He is. We should point out it's Kyle MacLachlan,
Right.
who is amazing and
a
everything.
frequent actor in David Lynch productions.
Yes.
Currently playing a role in Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., by the way. The
He was-
best part of that series right
He
now.
really is. He's like the only fun part of that series. He also played the mayor in Portlandia
He did.
on several
that was
episodes.
good.
Really good in that as well.
He was the main guy in Blue Velvet, another of David
Yes,
Lynch's
we actually
movies.
just watched that last night.
that.
I will say one thing about all these, like at least Twin Peaks. Somebody knows how to name very well because the names are really good in the show.
Fantastic. There's the sheriff, Harry S. Truman.
Yes.
There's
The-
a Detective Hawkeye.
I wrote down here the detective that comes in like episode 3.
Oh.
Albert Rosenfield is a badass name. That's a good.
Rosenfield.
Yeah. I actually
love that
rewound it
character,
when I was
too.
typing
That
it to
guy.
make sure I got it right.
And that's and then Andy, the little hapless deputy. You got to have a
Yeah.
hapless deputy in a mountain town,
Yep.
and he is so good at it. He's like every Andy Griffith show and
Yeah.
like Radar O'Reilly, all of these mashed into one. But he's his own unique creature. He's also the sketch artist, which is phenomenal.
Really?
Yeah, he was the episode where Laura's mother is describing Bob. That's he's the one drawing the sketch.
Nice.
So, but so yeah, the Dale Cooper comes to town. They start uncovering this whole mess of corruption and scandal. Ben Horn, a just cutthroat businessman, he owns the big hotel in town. He owns a lot of real estate. He's working with the owner of the Kathleen.
Catherine, I think.
We're really bad at names in this.
Yeah,
podcast,
there's
I
a
know.
lot of names.
There's
This
so
is
many
like
names. There's so many
Yeah.
characters.
Yeah.
So
Who
Josie,
are you asking about?
Catherine.
Catherine, Jack Nance's wife.
Oh, I
What's
love
his last
seeing
name?
Jack Nance, by the way.
Oh, he's so good, Pete.
There's just something
Pete
about
Martell.
his face that I just
Catherine
love.
Martell.
Yeah.
Yep.
Catherine Martell.
Yeah. So Catherine Martell is the not the owner, but she's a big stakeholder in the
Yeah.
lumber mill in town.
Right.
And she's having an affair with Ben Horn because everyone in Twin Peaks is having an affair.
Yep.
And they're planning to burn down the lumber mill and pin it all on Josie Packard, the owner. Say she was trying to get the insurance money.
She
blah, blah,
inherited
blah.
it from her
Right, her husband Andrew was murdered. And that's what happened. Or no, he wasn't murdered. He died.
He was in
somehow.
an accident
Didn't
of
he
some
like
sort.
get
Mysterious.
lost at sea
Right.
or something?
He died under suspicious circumstances. So they're planning that, and then we find out also that Josie is double crossing both of them, and Ben Horn and
Yeah.
Josie are going to double cross
Right.
Catherine for insurance money. 'Cause
Meanwhile-
they've taken out a life insurance policy on her without her knowledge.
Right. Meanwhile, there's a woman with a log.
Oh, I love that character.
The log lady is
The hero.
such a good character.
She is the hero.
She's like an iconic image of Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
Like anyone who's never even seen Twin Peaks, you could probably say log lady, and you've probably seen
Right.
a picture of her somewhere in your life.
My log does not judge.
I wrote that down. That is the best line from the show.
Well,
Season
and I
one.
like how her character kind of shows how Agent Cooper makes this journey into believing it, because the first time he encounters her, he's like, I'm not going to ask you for a log.
I'm not going to ask you like a question.
But then a
That'd be
few
silly.
prophetic dreams later,
Right.
Yeah.
and he's starting to believe it.
Yeah, and he's like, okay, I'll ask the log.
And those prophetic dreams that's one of the big iconic images of Twin Peaks that we see very early on. I was a little surprised how soon that came out, like the second or third episode.
Yeah.
You see the Red Room, which is this room
Oh,
with
so
like
creepy.
yeah, these just drapery and everything is kind of backwards, and there's this little person who's dancing around and speaking backwards. And then Laura Palmer's there, but it's not Laura Palmer. It's the little guy's cousin who looks just like Laura Palmer.
Oh, man, that was
Your
quite
deal's
the...
my cousin.
I thought one really creepy line. Well,
My cousin, she looks like Laura Palmer.
that whole scene was pretty nuts, like when it's just the little guy shaking or whatever.
Right.
And then when
Yeah.
she said, sometimes my arms bend back, I thought that was like super creepy.
Right.
And,
And
very
there's two,
effective.
it kind of goes back to something that David Lynch has used before, like an eraser head, to make things creepy, where like something creepy is happening, but people aren't reacting to it
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Because
It's-
Dale Cooper's seeing this, and he's just like sitting there, like,
An
okay.
old age mate.
Yeah, he's
joke.
Yeah,
old.
he's old, and he's just like, okay.
It's when you. It's like you're taken. In a lot of horror movies, you have the audience surrogate character who's freaking out, and you get to experience the movie through that character.
Right.
And when they take that away, it's like confronting you directly
Right.
as the viewer,
Very
and it can become a
unsettling.
lot creepier that way.
Yeah, as long as they actually have them be a good surrogate, not just the show being terrible, and you have no the person just not relatable. Then they try to take it away. It's just like, I don't care.
I thought the show was incredible. I mean, we're used to like shows being cinematic nowadays. Like, for the most part, shows are really well directed. Well,
Right.
not for the most part, but
This was the first one that
Sure.
was like,
that was like so.
I'm going to bring movie making to TV.
It was beautiful. Like,
Yeah.
I think you mentioned in one of the shots, like, it told you everything you needed to know. Just
Right.
like he's sitting there on the phone. There's a cop coming up in the background. Like,
Yes,
you
that
could tell
first shot with
with
telling Leland that his daughter had died.
yeah, it's just
So good.
Everything is so well thought out and well directed.
And crazy.
And for that time, that's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times when you're watching this, you're just like, wait, what? You know, because somebody did something you weren't expecting.
Tank, do you know anything about how this show came to be?
Not really. I've just kind of accepted it for what it is, and I've never really
Right.
dug under the surface too much.
Yeah, it's
I don't know too much about the story. I didn't really research it that much, but I know one of the executives from ABC at the time had seen Blue Velvet and thought Lynch's perspective on American life, the way it can be seemingly picturesque on the surface and also
Right.
be harboring all of this horrible stuff underneath. He found that really striking and wanted to do a TV show based
Interesting.
on a very similar theme. That's
Huh.
where it came from.
Yeah, because
And,
I did notice in Blue Velvet that it felt very similar thematically
Yeah.
to Twin Peaks,
a little less weird, but still that
Yeah.
same kind of
playing with the
etherealness.
tension of like suburban life with all
Right.
this crazy darkness.
And it was actually a struggle to get the show greenlit. All the other executives at ABC didn't want to do it. They didn't see why it was such a good idea.
Right.
And so this one executive, I want to say it's Bob Iger. Pause for a second.
Dun-dun, dun-dun, dun-dun,
Dun-dun,
dun-dun, dun-dun,
Yeah.
dun-dun. Dun-dun, dun-dun.
Yeah, it was Bob Iger actually, when he ran into resistance from the other executives, decided to do a screening where he targeted specifically a younger audience. And with that younger audience, he was able to prove that it was a really good idea. And it just went from there.
Interesting. Yeah, that was kind of one thing that I found interesting too. It was a huge hit right away.
Yes.
It's not one of those shows that took a little while to build up. I mean, it was the first season's only 8 episodes long, so they had a very compacted amount of time. So much happens in this first 8 episodes.
The first, well, I should say, first of all, it was going up against Cheers.
Oh,
Cheers was competing with it.
right.
And Cheers was this established show that was really popular at the time. And the season premiere of Twin Peaks actually beat it in ratings.
Man.
Nice.
But then the next 2 episodes each lost like huge percentages of viewers, so it was struggling a little bit. And I mean, that was kind of to be expected. They had tried putting Dallas in that time slot in the past, and Dallas suffered as well. And I mean, that's a show that was hugely popular at the time.
Well, and like even though the ratings might not have been great towards the end of it, I don't know exactly what that looked like, but it was one of those pre-internet water cooler shows, the same way that the X-Files was.
Well,
People were just discussing theories and
Right.
Like-
and I know I've seen like at any time I go like to old thrift stores or antique stores, you see like who killed Laura Palmer buttons floating around.
Yeah, it's like one of those things. I didn't even know where that saying came from until the first time I watched this, like season 1.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, spring of 1989. It was, I'm just going to paint the picture a little bit here.
All right.
It was on at 8 o'clock, I believe, and it came in after Father Dowling Mysteries played at 7. It also ran against soap opera Falcon Crest and the sitcoms Cheers, and another brand new sitcom started this year, Wings. So, what? You don't like Wings?
Should I?
No, probably not.
I like the band.
This was also at the height of the popularity of shows like Doogie Howser and Quantum Leap, Wonder Years, Alien Nation.
What?
Anyone remember that? Alien Nation is about like aliens living amongst us, just normal.
Like
it
Third
was just like
Rock.
normal. Like no, people knew about the aliens too.
Oh.
It wasn't like secret aliens. It was just there's aliens.
Right. Interesting.
But yeah, it was a weird time in television.
yeah.
Very transformative period.
And all those shows that you just mentioned just hold up so well.
There were 3 networks.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my little picture painting.
Yeah. So I mean, with kind of that context, and I mean, there are a few. If you want to dig into a few specific things with that, for these episodes that kind of stood out. One thing I thought was interesting was how accepting everyone is of Dale Cooper.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
that's such a like small town. Like okay, whatever. Like he has this plan to help him figure out who killed Laura Palmer, who's involved. They know the letter J is involved.
Yeah.
So he's made a list of everyone's name that starts with J.
Yeah.
It struck me as very podunky in a way.
Right.
Like Sheriff Truman, just following him around,
Right.
and watching him do these completely bizarre things, and
like
just be like, "Oh yeah,
his
that's
plan
just
here is you're going to say the name of one of these people whose name starts with J. I'm going to throw a rock.
yeah,
And if I missed this bottle, then they're innocent. If I hit the bottle, they're the person we're looking for." And the Sheriff Truman's like, "You said this came to you in a dream, right?" "Yep." "Okay."
That's funny.
Yeah,
And I think
yeah.
it's like they look to him as this guy, this outsider who's really intelligent and sharp.
Right.
And also they live in Twin Peaks, so they know
Right.
weird shit happens. So it's a combination makes
Yeah.
him this like infallible guy. And I love the bromance between him.
yeah. We
and-
actually
Right.
joked that they have like
so
he's got
cute.
a crush on
Well, I just-
Like
Cooper.
he like pinched his nose at one point, and that was adorable.
I like that was as he was talking about how Albert, his colleague, he's like, Albert is lacking in the social niceties.
Yeah, Albert. Yeah,
I think also when you see Cooper, like he does so much to kind of like shield the town from the FBI. Like kind of when the agent, I forget what his name is.
you tell him.
Rosenfield?
You tell Albert I will fight him all the way up the chain if I have to.
Yeah, or like when they're trying to get the body and get it in the ground, but Albert still wants to continue going through, and what's it called?
We can put your daughter in the ground anytime, but I have to do this today.
Yeah, like he was fighting for that, and it made sense.
Yeah.
Like he can get more evidence out of this, but Cooper was so concerned with not wanting to interrupt the town, and not.
he's clearly chosen sides, and he is loving.
Oh my
Twin
God, he
Peaks.
talks about like buying real estate.
Yeah.
for
His
Twin
message
Peaks.
to Diane. Oh, we haven't talked about Diane at all.
Man, I can't wait! I
Diane.
can't wait till we find out Diane isn't real.
Yeah,
I do like it.
No spoilers.
Yeah, and so he's
I don't know.
constantly-
All
I-
spoilers for season 1, but no spoilers for season 2.
Yeah, I'm about to say I don't know. Like I was just making a dumb joke.
He is constantly, he's got a little tape recorder, and he is constantly throughout the season recording little voice notes to Diane, who is maybe an assistant of some kind. Just
Imaginary.
hey, here's what's going on. I need this. I need
Diane, I'm going to need some
I need
earplugs. Yep.
And he gets them the next day,
So
which is weird.
How does he get the tapes to
Yeah,
her? I don't know.
Maybe he has multiple personality disorders, and basically Diane is just his other side of the personality.
Maybe.
I really like,
I should probably stop speculating here because I don't want to actually accidentally spoil something. I've never seen season 2.
yeah. I mean, you could wildly speculate. That's the joy of the show.
That's true.
Right.
We're having a water cooler moment right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, she didn't have any water.
What? I got some. Anyway.
Oh.
But yeah, Albert, I wanted to bring up, but I thought his dialogue was so well written.
Absolutely.
And so hilarious. And I feel the same way about Bobby's dad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, his monologue about I
You have to remind
understand
me.
your need to be rebellious,
The military
but it
guy?
still has to be within the constraints of
Rebellion
society.
is a given in this age in a man's
Right.
life.
Yeah,
It's-
like this hard ass philosopher or something like that.
And he's always wearing his military suit.
Yeah.
Yeah, just at the house.
I think it's a illustration too of how Lynch has created these characters because they're almost caricatures.
Yeah.
Like, because the log lady she's a lady with a
Yeah.
log.
Yes. Food is interesting to her.
Nadine is a crazy lady.
I mean, they're all crazy.
Right. I mean,
All
she's-
ladies are crazy.
She's the crazy lady.
Oh my god. She
and-
is
Or like,
fantastic.
not Bobby. James is the biker kid. He's the bad boy, and then just all of these characters are very on the surface. Like, you can see exactly what they are, but then as you spend time with them, you see all these layers that he's crafted,
Like an
and their
onion.
motivation goes deep.
Yeah, and I feel like the Laura Palmer thing, as much as they pretend like it's a shock at the beginning, the way the characters act, it does not seem like it's a shock. Like
Right.
Jack Nance, what's his character?
Pete Martell.
Pete
I
Martell.
love Pete.
He's the best.
I love his face.
I had no idea that was
Eraserhead.
Eraserhead.
Yeah.
He's got the best eyes. Like I
He
don't know,
does.
I just love him.
Wait, what did he play as?
He was
The
the
main
main
character.
He was the main character in Eraserhead.
Yeah, but what was he in Twin
The
Peaks?
old man who discovers Laura Palmer.
There's a
There's
fish
a
in
fish
the
in the
percolator.
Oh, holy crap.
There's a fish in the percolator.
Well, also he
You'll never guess.
A fish took a liking to my percolator.
it's
That,
well, also like he doesn't have the crazy hair, which is kind of like the signature
for
thing
Eraserhead.
about Eraserhead,
Right.
which is a movie that took me 3 attempts.
But
to
you see it,
finally-
his face is so iconic, even
Yeah.
without the hair.
But yeah, anywho, he says like she's dead. He doesn't even check.
I also like the way he talks. She's dead. Like
That's true.
he says it like
wrapped
really
in
slow.
plastic. Yeah.
Like it shows right away. Like, that's one of the very first lines in the series. I think it might even be the first line that's spoken, and it just illustrates his character so well. It's like he's
Yeah.
very passionate. He's very excitable, but he
Actually-
also cares very deeply
Yeah.
because he's like he can't even barely bring himself to express it because it's
Yeah.
just
It
this
just conjured
horrible
up,
thing.
like just thinking about that first scene conjured up what was so good about that first episode in general was that it was not an episode. The series is a mystery,
right.
but episode 1 is not a mystery. Episode 1 is, at least the first, I'm not sure, 30, 45 minutes of episode 1 is just the news of Laura Palmer being dead slowly trickling into town.
Right.
It's the principal making the announcement to the high school. It's the dad finding out while he's in the middle of a business meeting.
Right.
And the wife finding out when she's on the phone with him. It's the cops coming in. That scene right there, that was an amazing scene when he's getting the call from his wife.
Right.
And she's saying
Or
they can't find Laura
even-
Palmer.
Yeah, those moments before that where she starts realizing that she's not home, she's not at her boyfriend, she's not at her best friend's house, she can't find her anywhere, she's not at practice.
But that
and
scene
she
in
just
particular.
gets that feeling that's building up, that's conveyed so well, leading up to that moment you're talking
Right.
about.
That scene is him on the phone. It's a shot of him, and you can see like the door to outside.
and he's
behind
just
him.
like, oh, I'm sure it's fine, honey.
I'm sure it's
she's
fine.
Probably
And then you see the police pulling up, and it's one shot. The
Yeah.
cops coming in the door. It's like,
and as
you
soon
know.
as he sees that
And then the phone
Truman,
drops.
just
Yeah.
like, I'm looking for Leland Palmer, and that just
Yep.
blows him away right there.
so simple and yet so effective.
And great
Right.
acting
And
by
that's-
the mom
that's-
and the dad,
Absolutely.
I guess.
That's what I
her
think Lynch is good at, is just he can find brilliance in the simplest things.
Right, just
Yeah.
pulls just the right string.
For instance, in Blue Velvet, which we watched last night.
You watched it last
The
night?
main character. Yes, I did.
Oh,
I watched it
okay.
last night. Did you know that?
Last night?
We'll say it again.
Anyway,
Oh, yeah.
early in the movie, one of the main characters finds just a severed ear in the lawn, and he takes it to the cops, and they say, the coroner looks at it and says, it looks like it was cut off by scissors. Cut to the next scene of someone cutting the police tape with scissors, with a sharp sound of the scissors cutting through.
Spoilers.
Just incredible. Just sends a shiver down your spine.
Right.
Yeah,
And
he's
it's
very
so simple.
effective at making you feel things, like, and creeping you
He's
out.
very effective about making a movie that I cannot watch all the way through in one night.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Well, and one thing I wanted to talk about is I almost wish I didn't know what Twin Peaks was before I watched. Like, I wish I didn't know how bizarre it was going to get.
Right.
Because I bet that was an amazing experience watching that for the first time.
Absolutely.
And
just think it's just a murder mystery, and all
then
of a sudden,
suddenly, like, they're stacking donuts on the table weird. And,
Right.
like,
Yeah, why are they stacking the donuts like that? That's my
there's
question.
a lot of non sequiturs.
she does that for them every night.
I know, but number one, that would probably make if it's at night, that'd probably make the donut really hard in the morning. So that is the bigger mystery right there. Number two, why did she
It
do
can't
it?
be explained.
I just like how there's three cops and a secretary on the force.
Oh, yeah.
And they have like 18 boxes of donuts every morning.
Yep.
Maybe they're actually just the same donuts, and they don't actually eat those donuts. But she is just like insane, so she just does it like the same donuts every single time. Like,
well,
just
and
eat
the
'em.
brie sandwiches too. That was kind of a
With butter.
With butter. That was an
So-
awesome opening scene. Like
Yeah.
just this cold family dinner, nobody's talking, and then suddenly
Here's Jerry Horn.
here comes the life of the party.
Oh, yeah.
Let's eat sandwiches. He got really into eating that sandwich.
Mm-hmm. And so we watched the first episode together.
I thought that was
and
music for a second.
the last thing you see in the first episode is not Laura Palmer. What's her mom's name?
Sarah?
Audrey.
Sarah Palmer, just like waking up from a fever dream and screaming.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look up in the corner, there's a mirror, and you can see the mysterious Bob, his face.
And I've seen that first episode 2 or 3 times, and I'd never noticed it before until you called that out. It's just it's very small, very inconsequential. You can just make it out.
And I was reading about that. Apparently, at the time, he was just a set dresser for the show, and Lynch saw him walking into this picturesque house, and it's just this greasy guy that doesn't look like he belongs there at all.
Right.
And he was just taken by that image. And then later that day, he finds out from the camera operator that Frank Silva, the set dresser, was reflected in the mirror in that scene, just completely coincidentally. That he had seen this guy, he was like, "That's really striking. I could do something with that." And then all of a sudden, synchronicity strikes, and he's in that shot.
That's great.
Super creepy. So he is kind of turned into the overarching villain of the
Kind of
series.
this metaphysical villain in a way, because he's like, is he real? Is he just an ideal of Bob?
Well, I mean, in episode 2, he's like peering up from behind a table or something, but no one else sees him. It's just her.
Right.
Yeah.
And then there's the one-armed man that he has his dream about. This guy's kind of talking about, how me and Bob, we used to live above this convenience store, and we had these tattoos, and I had to cut my arm off to get rid of the tattoo, but Bob's still out there killing, and just kind of this very strange story that unfolds about what Bob and Mike is the one-armed man.
Which confused me at
first. He wakes up and also he just calls him, and he's like, "I need to talk to you. It can wait till morning."
Yeah, that was a great line. It can wait till
yes,
morning.
it can wait till morning.
He wants to get his sleep and his breakfast first.
I'm reading a quote from Lynch about this whole Frank Silva set dresser thing, and it's just such a Cooperism right here. He says, "Things like this happen and make you start dreaming, and one thing leads to another, and if you let it, a whole other thing opens up."
It sounds like an ancient Cooperism.
Right. It does. Like,
Definitely
That's
a lot of
awesome.
himself in that character.
That's awesome.
It's kind of, especially, I don't know how long we've been talking now about this, but it's kind of, we've barely scratched the surface of all of the stuff that's going on in these just 8 episodes of the first season.
I feel like this show would definitely warrant a rewatch, almost like if you have the time, which I don't think any of us do, to like rewatch it again almost immediately afterwards. And I think even then, like, there'd still be little things that you'll pick up because it's just like Yeah, these are dense episodes.
They
And
are.
Yeah.
even for me, like I wasn't always following along perfectly because a lot of things, like I didn't know why. Because so here
It's stylistically jarring sometimes, so you're not
Yeah.
fully. Sometimes you're distracted by the
What-
style.
like,
and
why are
not
they dancing?
digesting the content?
yeah.
I've
But-
got myself doing that.
Also, like another problem I ran into is a lot of the characters look very similar. So I mean, I had like especially who's like the crying.
I mean, all the hooligan kids, I guess.
Oh, you think
crying
Laura
de-
Palmer's dad and the owner of the
yeah,
lodge?
like I
they
kind
look
of
kind of similar.
I got them confused really bad all the time because I just see him walking into the office and talking to himself. I'm like, I could see that happen. I could see that happening in a David Lynch.
Are you sure you don't have face blindness?
Yeah, you did the same thing with Jon Snow and Robb Stark.
Yeah,
Well,
you did
they-
just say that like last
Yeah,
episode.
maybe I do have face blindness. I don't know.
I think
The problem is I'm very distracted by their hair.
Welcome to the Fool's Lantern TV and Medical Diagnosis Podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like for me, like number one, there's a lot of characters, and some characters you don't see a whole lot, but when you see them, you like. And for
Yeah.
me, they look so similar where you get them confused very easily.
Actually,
Especially a lot-
you know what? The two people that work at the diner together, they're both blondes.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, you
they
can
look
tell
different.
their
I
ages
think-
are different.
I
But
think-
at first I had trouble
And I think
telling them apart.
I think a lot of the high school women look very similar with like different hairstyles. Like their face looks similar to each other.
I think you were just unable to cope with the '90s hairstyles.
they're very distracting. Very. Just like it's everywhere.
I know Shanna wrote down some non sequiturs that she
Oh, I
caught
don't know if
during
I-
the show.
I don't even have them all. Not
I don't think you can
close.
ever get them all.
Do you have them all?
Like, okay, the donut stacking, that was one. Fish in the percolator, that was another one, which I hope we never get an explanation for.
How about that weird hunchbacked seamstress at One-Eyed
yeah.
Jack's?
Yeah.
You just see this like little old, like it looks like a Disney
And
cartoon
she's like,
character,
oh,
like
hobbling out.
and then just runs out. You never see her again, ever in the
It's
whole
just-
series. That's it.
Like the weird poetry that, what's her name? Laura Palmer's friend. Oh my gosh. The one played by Lara Flynn Boyle. What's her name in the show? Anyway,
See if I get pulled
her
up.
sister does some weird poetry in the first episode for no apparent reason.
Oh yeah.
Did Firewalk with Me? Is that non sequitur?
No, I think that's part of the mythos.
That is part of the serial killers thing.
Yeah. The identical cousin, which was weird to me, the brie baguettes, the jukebox that played background music. And I think
That was the best. That was.
I think
we
that
need
was-
to take a minute to talk
I think
about
that was more just lazy sound
You
design.
think? I
than,
don't know.
I do
You
have
sure?
the dreamy diegetic jukebox music.
I think maybe they
It's
just
like-
didn't want to spend money on different music, so like, you know what?
And she played it on the stereo at home, too, when she was dancing.
Right.
And her
I just
dad
want to point
found her.
out that you might say that was lazy sound design, but Twin Peaks was nominated for an outstanding achievement in music composition.
I think the soundtrack is phenomenal. It's
Yeah.
really kind of off kilter and weird, but it fits so well because it is kind of this lots
Yeah.
of bass line and
That
very
one
jazzy.
girl has a theme, like,
Right.
whatever her name
It's kind of
is.
like a little like jazz trio.
You know, it's very genre Wade music. How do I say
It's
what
like
I mean?
noir-esque.
The music feels very like deliberately specific genres.
right.
It's not just like normal background music. This is the mystery song. Feel
Right.
the mystery.
Right.
This is the drama song. You need to feel like you're sad because it's super heavy-handed with how
Right.
it's written, but it's effective.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wrote down the JFK theory as a non sequitur, but now that I'm thinking about it, maybe he's just like starting to question things being in Twin Peaks, and he's like, that is quite curious.
So those Douglas Ferns.
Yeah, must be.
Or there's a few things that that won't come up until season 2, like the other girl who escaped, the other
Yeah, she's
victim who's been in the
unconscious, I
hospital
believe.
this whole time.
Yeah.
You don't see her again until the second season. Dr. Jacoby,
Oh, his Hawaiian obsession.
his like weird anaglyph sunglasses.
Are
that
those
he's
like
always
3D
wearing.
glasses or something?
Yeah, and his infatuation with Hawaii and his like Hawaiian
Yeah. I want
sound
that
system
apartment.
built into his home.
That just sounds like a creepy friend you have when you walk where you walked into their apartment once that you never want to go back in there again because you're afraid about touching something in there.
Is I guess he is a pretty creepy character. It turns out.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah.
And then one of the characters who shows up, kind of bringing up with Dr. Jacoby, is Laura Palmer's identical cousin,
Oh my god.
Yep.
who comes to visit because she's going to check in on her aunt and uncle.
That okay, sorry, but what happened? Because I got really confused when
No, I'm laughing at you being confused.
Oh.
It's often the case.
Thank you. I was really confused when they called the doctor and they had like the fake Laura Palmer. Was that the fake Laura Palmer? Or was that like a cousin?
That was the
cousin.
That's
That
what
was the whole
That's
point.
actually what
Okay.
we're literally talking about.
Okay,
at the
that
moment.
makes more sense to me because at first I thought it was maybe they like one of the girls dressed up.
They
in
were
like
friends
a wig.
when they were younger, and she's always felt a strong connection to Laura, but she hasn't seen her in a while, and she wanted
It's
to visit
almost like
her
a-
aunt and uncle to.
This show's crazy.
A blank slate Laura, like a super innocent
Right,
version
it's
of
the exact
Laura.
opposite of Laura, but they look
I
similar.
think I'll also say, and we talk a lot about how crazy it is, but kind of since I've seen the whole arc of it, it feels a lot less crazy to me now.
Really?
Because I can see all of these plot threads that they're laying out, and they do pick most of them up. The show did get ultimately canceled, kind of abruptly.
Yeah.
But I heard they solved the mystery before it gets canceled.
They do. The Laura Palmer stuff does get solved, kind of like midway through season 2.
I read that was something Lynch didn't want to do. He actually wanted
Yeah.
to just keep it a mystery forever.
Right.
But Frost was like, maybe we should solve it.
Right.
Yeah.
One of the cancels just low viewership, or
It suffered, yes.
The second
season 1
season 2 is long and it kind of drags in the middle. It gets
Does
Yeah.
it gets a little boring for a stretch.
Season 1, I think David Lynch was a lot more involved. I know that he hand selected every director for all the episodes, and that didn't happen for the second season. So there's just less creative.
Yeah.
yeah,
I like the revelation of Laura through all these different things she left behind
Right.
and the people
Yeah.
that she's
Yeah.
clearly been
Right,
fucking
finding-
around with or
right.
something.
She's had
Yeah.
a pretty
she's
pretty
manipulative
wild life,
and
kind of a bad person.
but then
sexual
but
deviant.
you'll hear about that stuff, but then you'll hear about like something good she did, and then it's like you can tell like
Will
she-
we?
I mean,
remember-
yeah, she coordinated Meals on Wheels and
Oh, that's
Yeah.
true.
she
like
tutored people and
like she wasn't.
But she also left those tapes where she said that she could make men do whatever she wanted.
yeah.
Right, yeah, she took a lot of joy out of manipulating people. So it's like
Yep.
she
Yeah.
kind
But
of had some
and what was that guy's name that goes and talks
Bobby?
to Jacoby and he just like has a breakdown?
Bobby. Or,
Yeah.
her boyfriend.
Yep.
Yeah,
And,
it kind of,
and he's just intentionally pushing his buttons just to
Yeah.
try to break him.
yeah,
And he finds out that she manipulated him into selling drugs,
yeah,
Yeah.
so she could get them from him.
yeah, I'm not.
That's
saying,
that's a great scene because up until that point you see him acting all tough about it and you think
Mm-hmm.
that he's just like this guy who's
just like little.
gone down that path on his own,
Right.
and then you find out it was all just to impress her, and
Mm-hmm.
makes you really feel sorry for him.
Right.
yeah,
I wanted to talk about, we've talked about how well directed this show was, but one scene in particular, like when Leo's wife, what's her name? Gosh, I wish I knew everybody's
Shelley Johnson.
Shelley, when she's about to shoot him, and
Right.
she lost his shirt and he puts the soap in the
Oh my
sock and
God.
was like spinning it around and
they did a good job of making you hate that dude. Oh,
Leo
dude, like,
is the most just scummy guy.
he
in
is
the whole
the
show.
biggest piece
Yeah.
of shit.
he's a little over the top.
Give me a
but
beer now!
It's like, holy crap, dude,
He's got-
chill. She's getting it for you.
It's like he's just like leaving the house in the middle of the night. Like, where are you going? You don't need to know.
Yeah.
What an asshole.
Jeez.
But yeah.
And he also looks like the Twilight werewolf dude,
No, he doesn't.
kind of.
Not really.
You definitely have face
He
blindness.
doesn't look anything like that guy.
Fuck every yo.
What?
Rude.
Rude.
Yeah. So, don't we know the 3 people that she was with the night she died, but we don't know who killed her yet? Is that correct?
We
Fill in the
do-
blanks.
You do not know who killed her yet.
But we do know she was
we-
with Leo Johnson and the guy that
Yeah,
was
Jack.
stealing blackjack.
Jacques
That super
Jacques? Was it Jack?
Jacques Renault,
Yeah.
and we don't know who the third person was yet.
And
They
the
haven't-
Mina bird.
And the
had
Mina
something
bird, Waldo.
to do with
Yeah.
it.
I love that scene
Man,
where
someone
that
killed-
bird had a lot of blood in it. Holy crap.
yeah, dude.
It like
It's just,
exploded.
I was like, did like it get out and like
I was,
jelly donut? He like
Yeah, it looked like jelly
Yeah.
spraying on the donuts, and I was fearful for a second that the cops'
They
love of donuts would drive them to eat those bloody
Anyway.
donuts anyway.
yeah.
I'm
Someone
surprised
But,
killed
uh,
Waldo.
Just like
I was going to say,
you shut up.
How great was that Waldo says all the incriminating stuff he needs to say right before that guy shoots him. It's perfect.
Yeah, it was.
It reminded me of this Far Side comic where there's a bunch of robbers like in their hideout, and it's in a parrot store. And he's like, okay, the cops are about to bust this place, so we need to move to the new hideout. Just to make sure nobody gets lost, everybody say the address together about 15 or 20 times.
That's pretty good. Yeah, that bird knew everything.
I love that scene where Cooper's gone to One-Eyed Jack's and he's playing blackjack with the dealer, and the dealer starts recounting the story of what he did with Laura Palmer and Leo Johnson,
and
then that extreme close up of his lips as he's just laughing and he's getting saliva all over his face.
It's so
it's like,
gross.
oh, we're supposed to think he's disgusting.
And then there's also the Agent Cooper's responses as he's just like, you can see his like rage
he's
boiling
so
up.
pissed off.
He's about to leap over the table at him, but then he like bites it down and keeps his cover so they can capture him. But
we should
I'm
all
really
be
impressed
Agent
with
Cooper.
with
Agent
how
Cooper's great.
how much they can not be subtle and yet also not bother me with their complete
It's because
heavy-handedness.
it's so stylistic.
Yeah.
You know,
Because any other thing, if I was like, oh, they're trying to drill this point into me, I'd be frustrated. But with this, it's just like, okay, I'm down.
yeah,
Right.
I
it's
think
done in such a good
it
way.
fits.
they do so many weird things in this show
That's true.
that didn't surprise you.
Right. They've
We're in a bizarre
destroyed,
universe. Right
they've
now.
destroyed any resistance I could have to their storytelling style already with all the other weird stuff.
They've gotten your
Right.
guard down with like.
As
Maybe
soon,
that's the plan all along, was to prepare you for that shot.
as soon as the fish went into the percolator, you knew you knew what you were.
Which
was I was watching it this time because you see Pete Martell preparing.
Yeah, we
he's like
rewound
gutting
and tried
some
to-
fish. He's cleaning them, and you see the percolator on the other side. And I'm like, I was watching to see did they ever get anywhere near each other?
Yeah.
No.
Nope. The fish ends up in the percolator.
Fish took a liking to my percolator. That's
You'll
so
never
annoying.
guess.
Don't drink that coffee.
Yeah, I liked also Agent Cooper's relationship with Audrey. He's
what-
cool. I don't know if he's like kind of leading
Is he
her
leading?
on.
I think he's leading her on.
I don't
he
know.
knows
I
that
think
she's
there
interested
was-
in him, and
No,
he's still
well-
kind of being flirty with her.
I like how they had a specifically. I forget what brought up the conversation where she actually said, "I'm 18." Okay, good, because that'd be really weird because she doesn't look 18.
Yeah, I mean, like I think he was interested at first, and then heard high school and went, "Nope, that's not happening." But yeah,
But
I
he
don't
still
know.
acts like super flirty with her.
And Audrey's
until-
kind of growing too, because she's doing all this weird, chaotic stuff at the beginning.
Yeah, she's just Lauren Malvo.
She
at the
just
beginning.
wants, but I think she just wants attention because as soon as she
Right.
gets it from Cooper, she is like the most helpful.
and she
ever.
plays the music when crap. They're having that meeting, and
Does she play the music?
we think so, don't
Leland? No,
Oh.
it was never seen who put it
Leland
on.
Palmer is at the meeting with all these Swedish
a great
people.
scene.
Leland has we haven't even talked about
That's
Leland.
true. That's true.
He's not, obviously, for obvious reasons,
Yeah.
not handling the death of his daughter well. Anytime he hears music,
A certain
he-
type of music.
he like old dance music,
Yeah.
big band music, because he, assuming maybe he used to dance with his daughter,
Mm-hmm.
he just freaks out and needs to dance with somebody,
Yes.
and
Dance
like
with
breaks
me.
down and just can't.
Like he physically can't not dance.
I mean, we've all been there where you just can't not dance.
only not without all the screaming and squalling.
I mean, when I
That's
dance, that's how I
you know
I
what?
dance.
That scene was great when Catherine was like, well, I'm just going to play along and pretend like I'm.
Yeah, that was a
crying too."
great scene.
She's
So
just-
they're trying to seal a deal with is it the Swedish people still at this point?
Yes.
Or the Icelandic people?
Icelandic.
They're
yeah.
trying to seal the deal, and he starts acting really crazy.
And
so she
she's-
goes in and just makes it look like a dance that he does.
Yeah,
She
she's
And
starts shaking
everybody's
her
loving it.
fists around her head. And
just trying to
I was really-
maintain.
I was really hoping that'd be the rest of the episode. I'm like, I want to see. I want like
that was fantastic. And then
Yeah.
it goes over to Audrey crying in the corner.
Yeah,
So-
like they
Well,
make
because she
you-
just saw her dad
Yeah. Have sex with.
having some stuff going on.
But she was
with
laughing about that.
I think that was maybe just like disbelieving laughter. Like, this is so perfect. This is so
True,
perfectly
yeah.
this
Maybe
scumbag
it was
of a
like,
father.
this father is so sad. Would my father be that sad? I
Right.
don't know. That's my interpretation. I guess it's up for discussion.
Maybe just seeing how, because there was that discussion about how her dad just doesn't even view her as family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just seeing Leland that broken up about his daughter got to her.
Leland's nervous breakdowns added a lot of dark comedy to this show.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
when he throws himself on the coffin and it's going up and down, up and down. It like made me laugh, and then I was
Oh my
like,
god, yes.
Is it okay to laugh? And the very next scene,
Right.
Shelley is like, look
Right,
what
they're making
happened.
fun of him
Yeah.
at the diner, but it's also like how emotionally devastated
Yeah.
this guy is.
Maybe he just wanted to go for a ride.
It's interesting because at first they make it seem like Sarah Palmer is taking it worse.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a scene where, it's the scene where they're doing the sketch of Bob.
Right.
And Leland goes, is she telling you about her visions, her dreams?
Tell her about the other vision.
Yeah. Like he's
like
he's
so
fed up.
callous
He's
about
fed up
it.
with her and her inability to cope with it.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, this dancing compulsion emerges later.
He's
like an episode or
he's
two
already
later.
had that once before.
Yeah, the one.
It's like the very
with
first
the-
episode that
Does he do it in the
happens.
first episode?
No, I think it's the
First or
second.
second.
Second episode.
I think it's
He puts
after-
on Pennsylvania 65,000.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, in his house.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep.
But it's so interesting how they resent each other so much, even though they're going through the same thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, was it Sarah Palmer, the mother?
Mm-hmm.
Her blood curdling scream is
Piercing.
holy crap! Like that.
She can scream.
She can.
Yeah.
There's something about that always made like chills go up my spine.
Yeah.
Can we take a break really quick?
No.
I really gotta pee.
Okay.
Are we back?
I'm recording.
Baby got back
Nope.
in Twin Peaks.
Yeah, so just we've touched briefly, despite all of the characters we've talked about, on just the enormous cast of oddballs that
Yeah.
inhabit this town.
awesome.
Another one of them would be Big Ed and his wife Nadine.
Yes.
And their really great relationship. The first time we meet Nadine, she's screeching across the parking lot at him to come install her new drapes.
yeah, it's pretty
Um,
bad.
And then find out that she's got this idea. They got these new drapes, but she doesn't like how noisy the runners are.
Yep.
So she's invented noiseless, silent drape runners, and she's convinced it's going to make them millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And she's super excited about them. And then Ed pops a grease gun while he's working in his garage, and he comes in, he's dropping grease everywhere, and he trips over her runners and knocks them all over the place. And she freaks out and hulks out and
She's
rips her
incredibly
exercise
strong.
machine apart with her bare hands.
Yeah, she's crazy.
Which don't really know what's up with that, but whatever.
She's insane.
Yeah.
She's
Have you never been angry before?
not
I'm
that
wondering
angry.
how.
Why do you think I don't have exercise equipment? It keeps happening.
I love that one of the subplots in Twin Peaks is the drama of trying to get something
Patented.
patented.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she
Like-
finally gets them approved.
There's
or
more
not approved,
than-
but submitted, and
Yeah.
they're rejected, and she has a
Rejected.
She's like, I was gonna buy us a new TV. Like, so
It was
sad.
kind of sad. 'cause
It was
It's
sad.
like she's a little eccentric, and you can tell
Yeah.
Ed's cheating on her with Norma.
Yeah.
But he breaks it off.
Right, but he's not really into Nadine. And there's that time where they're getting dressed up, and she's like, "Do it," and he's like, "You look fine."
Yeah. Like she passionately throws herself at him, and he's just like,
Yeah, okay.
all right, this is what I signed up for, I guess.
But then you have that moment there where she's talking about, all the like she was looking at a boat, and she was looking at all this stuff she was going to do to help them get out of Twin Peaks and have a better life.
Yeah.
And he is genuinely moved and just like, no, we're gonna keep trying. We're gonna do this. We're gonna
Yeah.
There's other
figure-
patent lawyers.
right.
So it's clear to me that this is like a recent insanity or something. Like, how did they ever fall in love? Because it sounds like Big Ed and Norma already had a thing in high school.
right. Yeah, they were dating in
So-
high school, and
The drapes got between us. It was just never the same after the
And
drapes.
she has that kind of touching speech about, oh, it's just this little brown mouse, but I knew if you knew me, we'd fall in love. And he
Right.
looks guilty as all hell.
right.
But yeah, I don't know what happened there that caused Norma and Ed to be star-crossed lovers, but I don't know. Maybe.
But then that love is doomed because
Yeah.
Norma's got a murderous ex-husband.
Yeah, Hank.
Or I guess current husband who's in jail, just about to get out on parole. She was planning to divorce him since she was figuring out he's going to be in jail forever, whatever.
Yeah.
And then it turns out he gets paroled.
Dang
He
it.
comes home. So he's being creepy around the
and-
restaurant now.
And creepy around Josie, who clearly he has
Yeah.
some dirt on her because they've got
Well,
some sort of
she's
relationship.
with Leo, and he knows Leo, so obviously there's some connection there.
Josie.
Josie Packard, Truman's girlfriend.
Whoops.
The Asian one.
And then there's
too many characters in the show.
there are
It's
so,
confusing.
The show sucks.
There's so many. You could draw a chart,
Yeah, I'm about to say.
like a flow chart, that would just be so.
I would like to see that.
interwoven.
I would really like to see like a relationship chart and
Right.
who's cheating on who. Laura had like 18,000 other men that she
I
was.
I wonder if that was maybe by design, where it's like you're not actually supposed to be like trying to figure out like follow all
No.
that. It's just that like maybe he's just trying to make it where you understand that there's just like a lot of
like these
like a lot of
idyllic relationships are not so idyllic.
there's like a lot of like cross
Mm-hmm.
like cross lovers. What I don't know. Screw it.
That was the best way to end your point there.
I just found this one here. The story so far, as near as anyone can figure.
Wow.
It's-
Look at this
see
flow
it from
chart.
here. I'm afraid of
that's
second
bad
season
radio.
spoilers,
Right.
so I'm not going to
But,
look at that. But
Suffice to say, it's an incredibly complicated mass
All the
of
different
crisscrossing
relationships.
lines.
because
If you wanna
Josie,
see
who
it-
seems like all sweet and innocent,
Right.
You know, she turns out to be double crossing our main
yeah,
sheriff.
she's
dude.
planning murder.
The
So-
the only person you can trust is Cooper.
That's
What I
fair.
don't understand is, now I've forgotten his name too. Jack Nance.
Oh,
Pete Martell.
Why he stays with his wife when it's like blatantly
They
obvious?
hate each other.
They hate each other, and he knows that she's up to something bad.
I don't want to
Like
get
he knows
mink
she's
oil
like
on
hiding
my bed.
secrets.
Well, there's
and-
that, at the end when they're burning down the mill,
Mm-hmm.
Leo's, set the fire in the mill and
Yep.
lured Catherine out there to kill her. And he's found out his girlfriend or his wife, Shelley, is cheating on him.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's tied her up so he can kill both of them. And they're trying to get out. And Pete's like, Catherine's in there.
I gotta do what I gotta do.
I guess she's still my wife. And he's like, he's going to go in there and find her. So it's like he obviously still cares for her in
Yeah.
some way. Even though there's that.
and they have a couple of sweet moments.
When
Yeah.
Catherine
Later
realized
on.
she has nowhere to turn, she's like, "You're the only one who can help me here."
Right.
She kind
But
of.
she is like
She's
there's
horrible to him.
horrible.
There's
if I have enough of these drinks, maybe even you'll look good to me.
I like it when he's in there talking to her. They're in their bedroom and he's polishing his boots, and she's just like, "Get your boots off my bed and go to your room."
I
Yeah.
don't want to
It's
get
like,
mink oil on my bed. That's
Just
what
like
he
that they
says
have
there.
separate bedrooms.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Maybe they're like the odd couple or something.
Right.
Maybe they secretly love each other or something. I don't know.
But he knows that she's doing shady stuff. She's
Right.
hiding documents and gets
Maybe-
mad.
Well,
Hey,
he's helping Josie.
Maybe he's
find-
into that. You don't know.
Like he helps Josie find
Oh,
the
that's
second set
true.
of books. So it's like he's working against her to some
Against her,
extent.
that's true.
It's
That's
so
all.
complicated.
All the relation. There's not one healthy relationship.
There's so much soap opera drama
Well,
and
yeah.
weird cop drama and
Yeah.
mysterious goings on.
One of my favorite. Well, and the family life. None of it's good either. Like,
Right.
I love the portrayal of ineffectual parents. I
Yeah.
feel like that's big in this series. Like, just parents who don't know what's going on in their kids' lives, or just are horrible at parenting.
Well, there's the doctor. What's his name?
Jacoby?
No, not Dr.
No,
Jacoby. The one who's working with the cops. He's the dad.
Oh, the
of-
coroner? Or
Yeah, the
dad-
perfunctory coroner.
Yeah.
What's his name? Hayward, Dr. Hayward. They kind of have that dinner where James comes
Yeah.
over to have dinner, and the parents just like this very kind of wet blanket, but they're still like the best
Yeah.
family unit on the show, even though they're just like super boring, very
That's true.
very white bread American
Yep.
picket fence kind of house.
That's true. And I guess when she did sneak out, you shouldn't have done that, but we know you, and we know you wouldn't have done it if there
Right.
weren't a reason.
Right.
It's like, okay, very hands-off parenting
Notice
in
how
Twin Peaks.
notice how there's no babies in this show. Could that
well, then you'd have to have baby insurance.
your
That-
baby?
That's true.
That was a deep reference to something nobody watches.
Wait, where did I hear that before?
Red Letter Media,
Okay, yeah.
when they were reviewing some movie that had really horrible animatronic baby in it.
Oh, Twilight.
No, it was a Sniper, whatever, American Sniper, I think.
Really? Because I thought it was Twilight because it had like a.
No, American Sniper's baby was horrible.
Good
but anyway,
radio.
this
Good
is
radio.
off the point. You know what? We've talked about how each of us kind of loves David Lynch's style, but not everybody did. Isn't that right, Marcus?
No, not at all. So I've been looking up Ebert's reviews of David Lynch's movies.
He hates every
and,
David Lynch movie.
He does not like David Lynch. At least he didn't.
Yeah,
Well,
now he ain't liking anything.
He really didn't like Blue Velvet, and he really didn't like Wild at Heart.
I thought his review of Blue Velvet was kind of like on the fence. Like he thought the story was good. He just didn't think the stylistic touches.
Yes.
I think it's the
I
opposite.
actually highlight a phrase
Wait,
here
no.
where Ebert says he accuses Lynch of sneaky stylistic apologies.
for like the darkness in his movies.
Constantly in both of the reviews that I read, he's saying David Lynch is such a talented director. He's so good at what he does, but he's so cynical and thinks so little of his audience and whatever, what have you.
Yeah, and that's the best part about David Lynch.
Which is
to
interesting
me.
because that's what I like about David. Exactly.
It's how dark and cynical he gets.
Yeah.
But he did like Mulholland Drive, and he said in that review, he said, at last, his experiment doesn't shatter the test tubes.
Yeah.
I think that's interesting because
Oh,
he is always like very experimental.
Right. If you want one experiment that absolutely unanimously shattered all the test tubes, would probably be Dune,
Oh,
which
Yeah.
I will say is a ubiquitously, universally, unambiguously terrible movie.
Yeah.
But I really liked it a lot
Should I
because
wa-
it's so weirdly David Lynch.
yeah.
There's so many just bizarre David Lynch touches to it.
Should I watch Dune?
You should.
Yeah.
Okay.
You should. It's 2 hours of your life you'll probably want back, but you know, what are you going to do with those? 2
Couldn't be
hours?
worse than Southland Tales.
Exactly.
Oh god.
Still haven't watched it all the way through, thank God.
I always fall asleep.
Just like the design for that, a lot of it came out of Jodorowsky's Dune. Like he inherited the project from Jodorowsky.
But did I hear something like he followed the book too closely? And
He completely abandoned the book.
so the opposite of what I
Frank
heard.
Herbert was not happy with a lot of his interpretations of what lots of character moments meant. I personally, I haven't read the book since I was like 12, so
Yeah.
I didn't care about that part of it so much. It's got a lot of style. It's a very
Right.
stylistically cool movie.
Yeah.
The story's garbage, and it's just hashed together. And Lynch tried to distance himself from it as much as possible because he thinks it's his worst failing as a director.
Really.
But you got to see it, Stitch. I mean,
Yeah, a lot of it was studio involvement.
Is it crazy?
It's pretty crazy. I mean, Dune.
Yeah.
Dune without David Lynch is insane.
Really.
Oh,
It's-
yeah. Kwisatz Haderach.
Frank Herbert was a crazy person.
Yeah.
Yes,
You
he
add
was.
David Lynch directing that.
And it just goes
And
way off.
wasn't the art
rails.
design by
H.R. Geiger?
yes.
Art H.R.
he,
Giger.
he did the stuff for Jodorowsky's Dune, which a lot of that project trickled down.
Rest in peace.
Yeah,
You said rest in peace?
Yeah, H.R.
Okay.
Giger.
Rust and
Rest?
I don't know if I'm
Rust.
pronouncing Jodorowsky correct. I think that's how you
Yeah.
pronounce it.
but okay, so it was Geiger.
Yeah.
Giger.
Yeah.
Insane.
but yeah.
That's a great collection of people there. Lynch,
Yeah.
Giger.
and
Frank Herbert.
It's got to be good.
Then the movie didn't turn out good, apparently.
So do you think people were ready for Twin Peaks when it came out?
I would think so.
Do you think it
Just-
was ahead of its time? Do you think that's why it only made 2 seasons?
I think part of it making 2 seasons was some of the legitimate issues with the second season. It caught on so well with the first season. I think
Yeah.
that maybe it was ahead of its time, but not so much so. Just enough so
Yeah.
that people could see that, oh, wait, this is something new and exciting. Not this is something new and terrifying and I don't want to touch it.
Well, and
Right.
the influence of that show has lasted far beyond.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I see it everywhere now that I'm watching it.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much every big overarching storyline style of TV show owes a lot of that to Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
The X-Files, Fringe, all those kinds of weird procedural shows.
Where they have the issue in that episode, but it all contributes
Right.
to the greater mystery.
Yeah.
So much of the way a lot of the TV that I enjoy, there's a lot of it that traces back to Twin Peaks and the ground that they
And it did.
plowed.
It was nominated for 14 Emmys, so that's saying
Yeah,
something.
so-
People knew that there was something special about it.
Right.
I think, especially cinematography. At that time, it was very movie-esque,
Right.
which is not common, especially at this point. in TV history.
The videography really holds up today. I mean, it's not widescreen, obviously, but I think like just
Really good framing
It's not
in every scene.
overly dated, except for like the style, obviously, of the characters.
yeah, like if
and
that thing was in widescreen,
Yeah.
like it'd be.
Go ahead.
If that thing was in widescreen, it'd be like I could totally see it being like probably one of the best shot TV series around, like probably for the next 5 years.
So,
What?
for the next 5 years.
I don't know.
What do you
X
mean?
Files I thought was well shot
yeah, it's
Yeah.
very well shot.
For the next 5 years from when it aired.
from when it aired.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, yeah.
I was like, what are you talking
I
about?
thought it was funny that Shanna was kind of in the room when I was watching the most recent episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and she just wouldn't stop criticizing the cinematography
Sorry.
and how boring all the shots were.
Because I had just watched Twin
She's
Peaks.
like, man, if David Lynch was
Right.
directing this.
Oh my
like,
God!
it's like,
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. with David Lynch.
They should get David Lynch to direct Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
the entire plot of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the episode I saw, was communicated through stiff dialogue between two characters.
Mm-hmm.
Each scene was two characters, and nothing interesting was done with the framing of the shots
A shot.
to
B
communicate,
shot,
like,
A shot,
emotions or...
B shot.
You've described every episode of
Yeah.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, it's like it feels like a soap opera shooting style. Like it's
Oh,
not
yeah.
on the par that I would expect modern day. I don't
Right.
know.
I mean, that shows
compared to Twin Peaks.
that show's meant for the lowest common denominator, kind of, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you look too at especially every other show from the 90s. You know, I mean, there were, you know, the stuff that was on. It was primetime soap operas.
Mm-hmm.
It was sitcoms. So it was all stuff that was on a soundstage. It was all like multi-camera.
they
very-
didn't do
very
everything they could with the
straightforward,
medium.
Very very basic kinds of production. And so Twin Peaks was one that was like, you know what, let's go on location.
Except for MacGyver.
Okay, you got me there.
They use B-roll from like nature documentaries.
I mean, but they're post
Not-
Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So that was the one that was like, let's go on set. Let's go on location. Let's, you know, do this like we would do a big movie. We're going to have interesting places to shoot our show. We're going to take it all over the city. Mm-hmm. We're going to make it look like a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And just sold the American public on that so well, because like it makes so much more depth. Like if you can think of Twin Peaks shot as a multi-camera show on, you know, sound stages with, you know, boring two-dimensional sets, you know, and obviously fake woods, like it just, the whole thing would fall apart.
Also,
I
like
agree.
while I'm watching, I'm like seeing like bugs fly around. It really helps with the immersion because you're seeing like bugs fly around and dust and all this stuff, and you're sitting there like, you know, this totally feels like you're just you're like the imperfections is what makes it feel realistic,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that's what the new episodes 1 through 3 of Star Wars screwed up.
All right, let's not.
I
get into
agree
all
with you
that.
100%, but that's a huge swing for this discussion we're having right now.
Yeah. Just watch a Plinkett review.
Yep. There you go, Stitch.
Yeah,
You did it.
All right. Well, does anyone else have anything else, burning topics they need to cover?
Stitch.
like topics with Twin Peaks.
Yeah. Just
Whatever you
anything
feel
else
you
you
wanna
really
say.
you want to talk about?
This is amazing.
What topics?
Like you said, topic. I didn't know if you meant like Twin Peaks or if
What's
we're gonna
this
get
podcast episode about?
if we're going. Yeah, what's Twin Peaks?
Great question.
Who killed David Lynch?
Oh boy.
No, Twin Peaks is good.
There you have it. There you have it.
Yeah,
Twin Peaks is good.
So I guess we'll just wrap up this discussion. It's kind of the end of this season. Ends with Agent Cooper
Cooper
being
no.
shot 3 times in the chest in his hotel
There's
room.
a lot of like cliffhangers in this last episode.
it's a very-
it's like loaded with them.
That's the last thing, and then kind of the first episode of season 2 is entitled "May the Giant Be with You,"
Giant.
and it gets crazy right off the bat.
Good.
So I can't wait for everybody else to watch season 2.
Oh, I can't wait.
I need to talk to somebody about what happens at the end of season 2 because
Okay.
it's one of the
I've,
craziest endings to a season I've ever seen. I need to decompress some of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited.
Get caught up.
I've spied a few things I probably shouldn't have,
Don't.
but Not plot. I just want to say I'm excited to see David Lynch as a character in the show.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, he's in it.
Nice.
And I'm excited for David Duchovny to be in it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Also, who did I see? Who 24 Jack Bauer? What's his name?
Jack
Sutherland.
Jack Bauer.
Yes, Kiefer Sutherland.
Jack Bauer.
Jack Bauer. He apparently is in the second season.
Nice. That's not as good as the other two, but that's still kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
I just saw it. I'm like, huh,
Interesting.
cool.
So, Stitch, would you recommend this show?
I recommend season 1. I can't say anything about season 2.
I'm not going to ask anyone else. I'm just the audience wants to know what Stitch thinks.
It's good.
All right.
Yeah.
I think that wraps up the episode.
Absolutely.
If you would like to know whether Stitch survives the fire at the sawmill or not, make sure to tune in next week.
There are some days that look so bright.
There are some lies that seem so dark.
How could you walk against the wind?
How could you stop to look around?
You never know which road to take.
One never knows which way goes down.
Will you get backwards to the shore?
Are you ready for the fight?
Our intro theme, the Gypsy Song, was made available via Creative Commons by the Freak Fandango Orchestra.
The newspaper ticker theme was made available via Creative Commons Attribution License by Mike Koenig, and the showcase theme, Booga Blue, was made available via the Creative Commons Attribution License by the U.S. Army Blues.